Hey, I'm Jay.
And I'm Jaimie.
And today we're gonna make this absolutely massive dark portal.
It's a gateway to somewhere beyond.
We've been excited to build this literally since last Halloween.
Yeah, the end of Halloween we had this idea and we were gonna basically build a portal to the netherworld.
But we didn't know how to do it, and this year we did the tombstones, which is our last video, and we learned how to use pink foam and make awesome rock texture out of it. So we're gonna use the same techniques in this video to build basically a massive gateway to somewhere, to I don't know.
Somewhere spooky.
Somewhere spooky.
So there's a few parts in this. We're gonna build the gateway, and that's gonna use this pink foam, and then we're gonna put some LEDs and some runes on the side, so it looks like some spells being cast when the gateway opens. And then we're gonna put some projection material in the middle of the gateway.
Yeah, we're gonna set up some visual effects and some cool graphics and stuff, so it literally looks like it's a swirling, flaming portal to the underworld, you know, with mountains and demons. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what we can figure out.
All right, so step one is we're gonna start cutting out our foam.
Montage time!
This is so much foam. So we had to cut our foam in half to get it home, but now we have to glue it together end to end to make it long again.
Anybody who's ever tried to get sheet goods home from the store, you know what's up.
So to relongify our boards, we're going to use some glue, and then we'll use some toothpicks to hold them together. So the toothpick idea is actually something that you guys commented on our tombstone video when we were struggling to figure out how to attach a tombstone to the base and couldn't figure it out. So thank you for that. Our foam is longified.
So our big gateway has 4 parts. There's the top, there's the 2 columns, and the base. So we're gonna sub-assemble each one, and then we'll be able to put the whole thing together after that.
To assemble these, we're gonna use the same method we did to elongify them with the toothpicks and glue and stuff, and then once they're all together, we'll use some clamps until it dries.
That works so well.
That was easy.
Again, the tape doesn't provide any structural benefit, but it helps it to stay in place while the glue dries, which is where the actual rigidity comes from.
It's gonna hold. Now it's time for the front face. So we have it in 2 pieces. And the reason for that is there's gonna be a gap here where our keystone's gonna be, and that gap is going to let us put in our LEDs, so it's like our access panel. Do we even need to clamp it?
I was just thinking the same thing. We do not need to clamp this.
Nah.
So originally we thought we would have to do this and then clamp it together and then wait for it to dry and then start all the other ones. But this is totally solid.
Yeah.
Definitely don't need to clamp it.
It's not going anywhere. So we have our column, we have our base. When we assemble it, we need the column to fit into the base and not wiggle around and move. So what we're gonna do is take this and we'll glue it halfway into the column, and then this part will sit into a hole that we've cut into the base, and that should kind of, it'll be like a Lego and it won't move, hopefully. So for the top, we're gonna do similar thing, only we're gonna glue 2 pieces, one here and one here, because we need a hole for the LEDs to go down into the column.
We're also gonna put some PVC pipe kind of up through the sides, and then a rebar will come out of the ground and stick into these, and that'll help it from blowing over in the wind. There's quite a bit of steps left before we're done with the columns, but before we can put them on the base, we have to install this bottom little piece here. We'll see why in a minute.
So the next step is we have to glue the base, the upper base, the big base to the little base to make the mega base.
So far so good. We've got the top built over here most of the way. We've got the columns left and right sides behind me over there. And then down here we've got Jaimie working on the base. She's marking and we're gonna drill out where the columns are gonna go so that we can sit those into the base.
We got both of our columns in and they went in pretty easily and they were surprisingly sturdy. So that's awesome. Now, the reason we put these panels in here is because we are gonna fill the cavity with concrete. So the concrete's gonna act as a ballast, lowering the center of gravity, and so hopefully it won't tip over in the wind. So our portal to the underworld has runes because, well, that's how the magic happens. These runes are from one of our favorite video games. Let us know in the comments if you know what game, and bonus points if you can tell us what they say.
Now there's going to be lights behind the runes, so to make it a little bit more diffused, we use this foam. This is actually stuff that you'd put underneath flooring if you're laying down like a laminate flooring. And we just cut some pieces and tape them on, and that way, when we hold a light behind the runes, it'll diffuse it and kind of make it glow a lot better.
So we got these LED strips, and we are going to connect them at the top, and then they're gonna go down the column, and then back up, and light our runes from the inside. And yeah!
That looks freaking cool. Obviously this looks really, really cool, but we did notice a problem that we're gonna fix. On the very bottom one, you can see what we call hotspots, which are the individual LEDs. On this one, we put a second layer of that foam. You can barely see the hotspots. So what we're gonna do is take these back off, and we're gonna put 2, maybe even 3 layers of that foam.
Our LEDs are on, and we routed a power cord out through the back, and up here, we are finally ready to put the fronts on. Those are gonna go on the same way, a little spritz of water, some toothpicks, glue, and tape it in place.
It's the next day, the glue is dry on the front panels, and we did a couple other things while we were waiting for the glue to dry. One is that we put the end caps on the bottom of the pillars there just to give them some more depth. We're also gonna move on to the top of the gateway now, so we put the end caps in the side of the gateways, and then on the top, we cut holes for the tenons, which is how it's basically gonna attach to the top of this gateway. Good job. And now you can see why there's a hole in the front, so that we can access this stuff. We're gonna hook it all up, and then the keystone will go in front of it. Is it working?
Yep.
Nice. We designed it this way specifically so that we could take it apart. So it's gonna be 4 made pieces. We've got the top, the 2 columns, and then the base. And none of those big pieces are glued together so that we can move it outside by disassembling it. But at the end of the season, we can take it all apart again and put it back inside.
We're gonna carve our gateway to make it look like stone using these really cool like sculpture tools. But first we're gonna draw out where we want like the stone definitions and cracks and things like that to be. So to do that, we're just gonna use a magic marker. All right, time to get messy.
All right, milestone achieved. Check this out.
Yeah, we used basically the same technique that we did on our tombstone. So we spritzed it with water and took the heat gun to it, and that gave it like this really cool texture. Now it's ready for some dry lock.
Yeah, time to paint this entire giant thing.
Hopefully we have enough.
Oh yeah, hopefully we do have enough.
We got 2 coats of dry lock on. It's really cool because it has this sandy texture, and it also like helps to seal it and weatherproof it and stuff like that. So now we're going to paint it. So to paint it, we're gonna use some acrylic washes, some browns and blacks and greens, and kind of let it drip down, use some water, and that should make a really natural stone look. So we're bringing the gateway outside, and there's a couple of accessories that we're gonna add. So on the steps of the gateway, we're gonna add these candles. Now, check out, this is like a ginormous epic candle. This was made by Kara from Poppy Hollow Productions, and I highly recommend you check out her YouTube and her Instagram page. So the other thing we're gonna add is this fabric. Now this is gonna go on the back of our gateway, and then we're gonna use a projector from the back, and it's gonna project onto this, and since it's semi-transparent, you'll be able to see the image on there.
If you'd like to get more information about how we did the projection and kind of how we put that whole hellish landscape scene together, we have what we call a before and after show on our Patreon, which is basically like before we make the video, we talk about what we think's probably going to go wrong, and then after we do an after show and we talk about if that was true or false or I don't know, whatever else, whatever cool stuff happened.
And if you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. It really, really helps us out. And if you want more Halloween videos, there's a whole playlist. And until next time, stay wicked. Cut out our stuff. Nah. Foam insulation. Nah.
We have quite a bit of...
We're gonna carve our gate. Nah. All right, nah.
We built a dark portal, a gateway to the underworld.